Morning, Doctor.
How's it going?
It's going. We have officially started recording. Ooh, that's spicy. Whew. I tried out my aunt's spice powder. She made this really super fiery spice out of some peppers that she grew in her garden. And granted, these are in Taiwan, and like tiny little orange little things. I'm like, this should be okay. I just sprinkle a little bit. I'm like, this should be just enough. But oh man, uh,
I just ordered on the internet some super hot sauce. I want to try, see how that goes. I actually made some. They're just some jalapenos I grew in the garden. I just made some like pickled jalapenos. They're not too bad though. They can vary in spice. You never know what you're going to get with them.
where's Lauren?
Hey.
All right, Lauren. It's 6:03. Why don't you start us off?
Okay. Okay, this week I worked pretty intensely on the 501c, and I'm just looking for my headset. And I did some back and forth with Joe and William about the application. So that's what I did, and that's what I intend to keep doing until it's actually in the mail. This coming weekend blocks the IRS the way they write things. I'm dealing with that, and one way I've been dealing with the block is to print everything out and sit outside and read. Much easier to follow. So that's it for me.
Excellent. Thank you, Lauren. It is Thursday, July 13th, 2017, and Lauren's from Saskatoon, Canada. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I pronounced that incorrectly.
Sorry. That's Michael is in Saskatoon.
Oh, sorry.
I am on Gabriola Island in British Columbia.
I should remember this by now. Like, why did they mix that up? Human mistake. Right, mea culpa. That's right, Gabriel Island. It's been what, like almost 2 years, or more than 2 years now, ish. All right, Chris, would you mind following following after Lauren, and I will finish this up.
That'll work perfectly. I apologize for the noise in the background here. We got a lot of cicadas. Okay, so last week the main thing that I got done was on the website. There were quite a few updates that needed to be done. The version of WordPress needed to be updated. Several themes needed to be updated. And something like 25 plugins needed to be updated. So I ran the backup and got all of that updated. And then also approved some comments and then kind of briefly looked over those because there were some comments for the Scrum and Hardware Guide that may be able to be incorporated into the guide. For next week, the plan is all about the Bellevue College build. So whatever needs to be done on that backlog and in the actual event is pretty much going to fill up my week. The only blocks, as I noticed before I did the updates on the site, that at least on my phone, the mobile version of the website is not functioning. The video doesn't come up and the menu doesn't work. The only thing that is really appearing properly is the footer. I'm not sure when that changed or what may have changed it yet. I think I'm probably doing that right now, but I would wonder if someone can verify if that's just my device or if that is a global issue that needs to be addressed. And I think that wraps it up for my stand-up portion. Oh, and I'm Chris Wallace. I'm the product owner of the Burleson, Texas, USA microfactory.
Thank you very much, Chris. This is William Newman, product owner of Linwood Wikispeed, aka headquarters. And yes, I believe Chris Wallace is correct. I'm using a iOS Chrome, and it looks like it's just a footer. I'm going to go ahead and actually test through and see if it's also the Safari as well for a different mobile browser. However, that's my fault. We should actually continue and stick with stand-up as opposed to the crosstalk-ish. It's my fault. Thank you for being on the block, though. Let's see. Last week, I did nothing other than go on vacation and follow the advice of not bringing your laptop. And so I didn't. Slightly guilty at first. And then when I got back, those are the two only times. But yeah, it was good. It was a little weird. It's been a while, since 2009, I think. And very happy to be back. Am I rejuvenated? I don't know. I definitely feel somewhat rested, but I am hungry. I do feel hungry for productivity and excitement, and anxious to really hit this, out of the park, whatever it is, coming up this next sprint, which is our build. Yes, correct, and it's looking pretty good so far. I'm noticing a few things here and there that could be addressed or discussed, which is awesome. However, the rest of this last week, Eli and I actually did quite a bit. He was able to install the switch, as you saw in the demo, for the windshield wiper. Amazing. He actually wired it up. We'll need to validate and put in a permit wire. That's a lot longer to make that work. The t-shirts that came in, I finally finished inventorying them, 2 bins, categorizing and separating them into 2 colors as well as sizes and the genders. We updated our tracking, and we refined and updated our backlog, which is good. We needed to do a lot of that. I think we'll be able to refine some more once Monday comes with a few more other people for the build. That way we could figure out what other tools and supplies that we can bring with, since we'll have a truck to tow it, the trailer, which I hope will have time to actually be emptied by then, or just leave some of the lot heavier items that could require 2 people so that one person can hit themselves. Yep. And blocks. Nothing major at the moment. I'm probably just guesstimating what we want to charge for some of the t-shirts and mugs. We'll figure out which swag items we want to give away. Probably just stickers would at least be a minimum to the people that signed up. But I do want to hand them a little bit more something else to be substantial, to sort of show people like you can have one too, even if you're not part of the build, or they are part of the build. Here's something, not just a sticker to take away with. We'll come through with that. The other one is the banner. I need to figure out what 2-foot by 5-foot graphics that we can put together for a banner that I want to make. I believe we could probably get that printed within a 24-hour turnaround or even less, at a Costco. And that is it for me. I believe I see Dr. Lolchek on the line. And please, if you're there, take it away. Michael, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
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 A lot of the last couple of weeks, I guess. I sent on the email.
Michael, it sounds pretty bad. We're barely hearing what you're saying.
Okay, well, just say you'll maybe look at email. You don't seem to be able to communicate.
Okay.
Did any of that come through?
Yep, that last part did. Looking at email. I'll pull it up. That way it's at least recorded for posterity.
Okay.
You're coming in clear now. Please continue.
Oh, well, maybe that's the problem. Maybe I walked around the side of the house to look at the laptop. It's not sunlight readable at first. Please.
Michael, are you back from walking?
Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. Lithium iron phosphate batteries, some of them are salvageable, which is better than I budgeted for. And those 3 Polarises with WD to keep erosion to a minimum. Last week, got a fair bit done on the Rangers. A little bit of troubleshooting for why they won't go. Battery charger issue. 2 of the battery packs actually seem to be moderately good shape. Way better than I thought they would be. I have a throttle problem. A couple of corrosion problems on signals to low voltage signals, I guess. So you can read through them if you want. I am posting a bunch of information to rangerforums.net, so hopefully they can give me some feedback on what I'm doing that's silly. That's about it for what I got done, what I'm going to be doing. Hopefully I'll get, I've been saying that for 2 months now. I'm going to check the battery chargers and troubleshooting. I unfortunately investigated car haulers, and I don't know what you guys have down south of the border, but I can't find anything that is a reasonable weight that's closed in, and I'm a little nervous about coming down with battery modules and motor modules and stuff in September without being able to close everything up. And I'm doing so little that I don't think I'm going to actually be able to come down with something actually functioning. But that's a block. We'll see if we can get around that. And I guess that's it for me for this part.
Thank you, Michael. And the last part came in nice and clear. It was, I'd probably say check out Amtrak or any of the railroad services. They seem to be a little bit better if anything can fit some of their pallet sizes, depending on how big it overall is, or if it can come apart. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a build at the trade station and pick you up. We'll see. I guess we'll iterate towards that. Very good. That concludes our stand-up, and which will bring us to our retrospect. Let's continue in the order of Lauren, Chris, and then William, and then Dr. Olchek. And Lauren, you are up.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm sitting down for the retrospective. It's not the stand-up. So, and I'm going to give myself an 8, not a 10, because it's taken so long, and there's more final stuff, as always happens with the IRS with me. That there's always a bunch of final stuff, fussy stuff to finish. But give myself an 8, the team a 10. Process improvement. I don't have one.
That's all right. Thank you. We've got all that. No process improvement. There was something from last week also, or the week before, which was the post-Labor Day public place for HighFive stand-up with food. Was the notes I have. And Chris, I believe you're up.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm also going to go with an 8 for me. I'm getting back into the groove of things. I went ahead and wrapped up semester, and actually I applied for graduation. I think all the criteria are there, so I should actually be done with school at this point. I'll find out here within the month. Thank you, Lauren. So I'm, like I said, I'm speeding up, but I'm not back to my regular velocity just yet. Hopefully that'll pan out at least by next week. And yeah, definitely a 10 for the team. I know I didn't actually attend last week. Michael didn't attend, and of course William was on vacation, but still, things got done. There was still a lot of enthusiasm, and it's awesome to see the team still push through, even with about half of the normal crew. So process improvement. I didn't have anything written down, but I was thinking something that we attempted a year or more ago that we did for a little while was reading at the beginning of the stand-up. Is reading something from like the Agile Manifesto. There's the 4 values and the 12 principles, I think is what it's called. So basically, each week we picked one of those things and read it at the beginning of the stand-up. So that wraps it up for me.
Thank you, Chris. And I believe it is to me, as I horribly multitask, which is what we don't practice and don't teach. I give myself how happy to be back in doing what I'm doing. I will say I will give an 8. It's okay. I want to give a little less, but I know that people will be mad if I don't give myself a little credibility, or at least displeased, and I'd probably agree with that. Came back not necessarily with a vengeance, but really a lot of drive to clear things up and really hit the road with it. I like to see more of what we can do with the car, but I know that's probably more of a second priority as far as right now we're getting close to launching for the Bellevue College Bill, so this is part of that shifting. So I'll continue to give myself an 8 then. For the team, absolutely. If I can get more than 10, please can I get that? To see stand-up actually happening, people sharing what had happened, and also the reports and the news, and also the progress that's going on. The 501c3, it was seamless as I came back to do it. It was great. The websites, updates and changes, and the blocks that we come to figure out, like, oh, that's one, we found it. And of course, Michael Lolchek with that, wonderfully just phenomenal. I hope, I shouldn't say hope, I urge him, I strongly encourage him to give himself a 10. Like, please. Maybe luckily that's why he's going after me. So, any process improvements? I don't have one at this time, and I will actually continue to practice the process improvement that we had a couple weeks ago. So that'll take us later on into our crosstalk. So I believe that's it for me, and I believe it is Mr. Wolchek.
Okay, audio check. Can you still hear me?
Yes, sir.
I see a nod. Good. I'm going to give myself a 10 because this is as close to getting all of the stuff done that I was going to do as I've gotten so far. And I was going to go 9 for this team, but I think I'll agree with 10 because they've soldiered on when not very many people showed up. We had holidays, we had all this other stuff happening. So, way to go, team! Keep coming, keep showing up, keep doing the good job. I do not have a process improvement. I'm sure we have several in the backlog that we could choose from. I just didn't get time to look them up. And that's about it for me.
Thank you, Doctor. So we have one current standing from Chris Wallace, which is reading from the Agile Manifesto. And then the other process improvement from previous is the post-Labor Day public place for HighFive, stand up with food. Do we want to bring that in, or do we want to continue to just go with the reading from Agile Manifesto and infuse that into our current sprints? Any discussion?
I was gonna. I thought of one to do with Git, because I left that out of my stand-up, but I've been. I did an online course with Git. I had a thing called O'Reilly's Safari, which was supposed to give you all their books, but it constantly asked for my password offline on your tablet. Any number of books that would with a limit of memory. I paid $400 over the last 2 years for it, and it's never worked very well. So I finally dropped that and I made some progress, I just went on to Git, the website, and did a course there, which I'm going to share with people. And I'm just kind of, I don't know exactly how to formulate it, whether it's a backlog, but something to do with get started doing what we can with Git and self-training with Git. So I found a really elementary thing, but I learned things from it, because Git's a little different from Subversion and CVS.
SVN.
SVN. Yeah, no, SVN is Subversion, but before that, there was something else. Anyway, Git's a little different because it's very peer-to-peer with no centralized control, which is a good thing, or that's its virtue anyway. So I'll throw that in. It's probably not formulated enough, and I'll maybe just put it on the backlog.
Lo and I agree. Let's put that on the backlog, because I think currently we're already starting to utilize Git for our Arduino autonomous driving coding and developing. So previously we had a summer intern that was working on the autonomous driving, and we were asking and aiming that he would load a lot of his coding into the Arduino coding into Git, so that we can actually continue to iterate on that. We had some difficulty in locating it on Git, or perhaps it probably didn't all take. So this time around, we are actually making sure that that is happening with one of our current volunteers from Bellevue College that's actually working on that right now. You'll probably see some of his demo videos already lately regarding the throttle body sensor and the Arduino that he's working on. I agree. Let's make that more of a backlog item and actually continue to iterate more on that. So then that brings us to, that's probably going to be unanimous to reading from the Agile Manifesto and to more into our daily practice of what the framework is and how we go about making sure that each part of the framework is being adapted to its best of its abilities of how we utilize Scrum. I don't hear a nay, so it's unanimous. Excellent. That concludes our retrospective. Hello, Michael. And then that brings us next to the item of crosstalk, which I like to nominate the one-on-one high five to actually Michael Lolchek. He's been, I think, the silent hero a lot of times for Team Wikispeed, and I think he deserves quite a lot of support and credit for a lot of things that he's done, from little things to big things, from removing a block for people who are wanting to get to different sources of information, data, or access. Between Michael Lolchek and Chris Wallace, it's just phenomenal. It's always good to really see a lot of the emails and threads and even the Slacks on what's going on and who's approaching and welcoming even newcomers. So thank you very much. Would anyone like to add to that while I go ahead and type this into tracking?
Yes, I will. I will definitely second that. Michael has been he's been on the team longer than I have, and he's actually been much more consistent at attending the stand-ups. And I think, like William mentioned, he takes care of almost all of the back-end admin stuff. He also picks up loose ends, like if we haven't figured out how to automate something, he just does it manually. I don't know how you find the time, Michael, and I think that you often do not get the high five and appreciation for that. So I wanted to definitely add on to that and say we definitely appreciate you. So thank you.
Well, thank you for the recognition. It's I don't think it's all that deserved, but if you guys do, then that's good enough for me.
You would say that, Michael. You would say that. We had anticipated you would say that, and that's why you deserve it even more.
And I am Canadian, so I must apologize for it.
Oh, it's funny. I actually met some Canadians in Jamaica, and they said, "Yeah, Trudeau in Canada has this mentality of no, we don't want all the glory, we don't want all the limelight currently." I'm like, what? Really? Is that true? Okay, all right. Also, OG original version, updated version 2, class orange. Updated version 2, class gray. Yeah, that's what we got. The new bundle. I did not see the onesies though. Maybe the onesies have already been taken, and hopefully the perhaps the justices will go ahead and demo those one of these days when they have their children in them.
That wouldn't surprise me. Fitting them both into the back of the speed car, trying to strap down those seats.
Excellent. Does anyone have anything else to discuss? As I shared the new items, I don't want to take up too much of anyone else's time as well.
Real quick. Thanks, Mark. So I have to special order the romper version for myself, then, right? of the t-shirt. Sorry. I did wanted to say about the t-shirts, William. Previously, we were selling the OG version of the t-shirt for $25 a piece. So I don't know if that helps. I don't know if any of the other merchandise, if there's any previous prices on any of them. But yeah, so I just wanted to add that.
Thank you very much. I'll put that in right now. That'll really help because I know it's at least $20. But then again, I didn't want to go up too high just because these are college students. We're not there necessarily to make money. It's more of a kind of donation, but I don't necessarily want to put donation either because I know how that goes. Like, oh, it's donation. I'm out. Per t-shirt. Thank you very much. And then Chris. Oh yes, Lauren. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So one thing I was thinking of, and I'm not sure if this is kind of outdated. I was going to buy one of the shirts or something using Bitcoin. Do we know that the Bitcoin's working and everything? Because I was thinking of testing it and buying a T-shirt with the Bitcoin.
Let me add to my backlog, but I need to check that, Lauren, because again, I know someone has previously purchased a T-shirt with Bitcoin, but that was previous to many changes on the website. So I just don't know if that plugin is still in place. I definitely don't know how it's processed, if we have an account with Bitcoin or if it comes through as actual cash on our end or what. So I'm adding right now to check that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have a wallet.
Right. Okay. So yeah, and I'll hit you offline. I'll get back to you to let you know.
Yeah. So let me know, and I'll buy something.
Hey, Chris. Last I heard, Mary Mike was the one that processed whatever Bitcoin we did get. But I saw the result.
Thank you, Michael. That's good information. That'll give me if it's not working, that'll give me a good starting point to maybe figure out what we need to do.
Excellent. And if it's still in Bitcoin currency, that's probably even better because it's been pretty volatile. Yeah, you know how volatile that thing can go. And also, there's a new not a currency, but there's a new exchange. I think it's called Ether, or it's spelled like Ether. I was reading up on the news lately. Not related. To actually address Michael Lochek's block about shipping, I think Michael Lochek, correct me if I'm wrong, you were mentioning that shipping anything down to here south to Seattle is going to be a bit of a challenge since one of the blocks is the international, I think, portion of it, and then the other is the shipping in a container. Is it even a feasibility to take a car trailer through the border? Is that possible?
Well, the car trailer is how I intended to do it. But an open trailer is in the 1,500 to 2,000 pound range, and I can get through there with the tow vehicle that I've got. If you go with an enclosed trailer, they start at about 4,500 pounds, and I don't have enough tow capacity left to actually fill it with a car and a couple of motor modules and battery modules and stuff. So I looked around for a couple of vehicles to rent, and they're silly expensive. Hoping that I actually get my button gear and some motor modules. It's not looking optimistic.
I see. Okay, let's see if we can put together some builds, and I think also our founder Joe Justice has mentioned about experimenting with turning Wikispeed, or excuse me, not turning, growing a part of Wikispeed into a consulting firm as well, and I think this will actually help garner us some of the business aspects to build in some of our supplies that we need to get to do the things that we want to do. I mean, it is a micro factory, so whatever that we build and make should be able to garner us financially to help support the next iteration, the next build, as well as supplies. I think that's something that we can really closely discuss, I think, by next sprint. I know that a few of us, or a couple of us, will have more bandwidth after the build. That's something I think for some of us to think about and come up with any questions or suggestions in the meantime. So, thank you very much for that point, Michael. I think that's it for me. Chris, I did send you a little item for a networking and the Northwest Tech item for this afternoon. And let's discuss that offline if you have any questions about that. Does anyone else has anything else? Thank you very much. It's good to be back, by the way. Oh, look at that green and that sun. Looks great, Michael.
Just letting you know, I'm on holidays right now. That's the office.
Ah, that makes sense. Hence, it's too nice at the lake to work on hobbies. I gotcha.
It's really tough to get motivated, actually. Anyway.
Sounds very good. All right, gentlemen, everyone. Then I believe that concludes our Team Wikispeed high five. Thank you all. Appreciate it. And we will see you all next week, if not sooner.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Ciao.